What's up, boys? Gotta move some stuff around. Gotta do an oil change on the Huracan. I'm gonna show you it's a lot easier than everyone makes it out to be, and that you can do it for like an eighth of the price. So that's what we're gonna do today. Gotta get the 3000 GT out and over, get the Huracan backed in. You gotta back it in. Remember, most of the weight's on the back, so you want the engine to be on the front of the lift. This thing's been sitting now for 4 months plugged in. Should be a pretty good cold start. I'll get that for you guys and get this thing ready to get ripped on this year. I'm gonna beat the crap out of it this year. I got some big plans for it. Got everything moved around. Time to start this bull up. 13.5. We'll leave it plugged in, start it. Let me set you guys up, get you a good cold start. I should have shut the garage so it echoes in here. This thing sounds amazing if you haven't heard it before. This thing is. I was just telling you guys how loud it is. That thing is a beast with the exhaust. If you're new to the channel, I did exhaust and wheels on this. I did a video on how to do that too. It's somewhere in my playlist. Let me unhook this thing. I'm gonna let this thing idle for like a good 5-10 minutes before I even move it. And then I gotta move it over to the lift, back it on like I talked about. I also got little pucks. You just cut little like 1x to get on there to make them fit. I'll show you. So the best thing to do is to get it like somewhere right where you think it's alright. Mine is kind of easy because I just get it so this door hits on this second one right here. But you still got to use like sky jacks, or you got to jack it up to get the lift under it. So you can get it back somewhat, then just use your sky jacks or go jacks, whatever you want to call them, to push the car the rest of the way back. This hits right there. So I'll use those sky jacks, jack it up, and then I just got 1x pucks to give me another inch. Half an inch, and that's what I do. And there's marks on this to where to use the lift if you're going to use the lift. You can change your oil with just jacks in your driveway if you want to be like that, but I'd rather put it up on the lift. So let me get these sky jacks on each wheel, jack it up, and I'll show you the markings. You got to put this is all one piece of a tub, so you got to put the post in the right spot. There's marks for it. If you don't, you'll damage carbon and everything else, and it ends up being a nightmare. So if you're gonna try to do this, do it right. It's gonna be easier for me to show you once it's in the air. There's a little circle cut out just for your little pucks to go in on this car, and that's where it has to go. It's right here. You can even see there's a black mark because the dealerships use hockey pucks, because the dealerships got to do the same thing I'm doing. Now go around, make sure you're on all 4. Okay, here you go. The most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing of ever working on one of these cars. They just do that. I don't know if that came across on camera, but every time it feels like you're breaking something. It's just like carbon bending. Okay, I put it up, checked all my posts. You gotta get your cover off. If you have a Huracan, you know about these. There's Allen bolts. There's like half turns. This whole cover will come off. They're 5mm hex bolts. You just do like a quarter turn. They pop out of place. Now, this is your tank, your dry sump tank. That's where you'll put oil in at. Filter is right there in the middle. Right there, this is a cartridge like any Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW. Just put a little socket on there and twist that. But the big thing is the 8 drain plugs. You gotta take everything off the bottom to get to them. So we'll start there. So you gotta take all this off, this whole thing. Here's your dry sump. You got some bolts in here. There's one there, one there. You got 8. I'll point them all out to you. I might even throw up a diagram. You gotta take this cover off because you got some tubes up in there you gotta do. You gotta drain your oil cooler. There's crush washers on all of them too. So just start taking all these covers off. They're all star bits. They are T30s. And then you got these little snap clip ones here. You just pull the center out. And then they just come out. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them right in the middle. I just get yourself little bins to put everything in so you know exactly where they go. Alright, now this whole thing comes off like this. And I just had this off to the exhaust. You see how much this scoops up? I'll sweep that like I did last time. Even though it'll be filled up as soon as I do it. Now you gotta get this metal plate off. Some more T30s. And then you got these big boys back here, which will probably be, it'll be this M10. It's not really a star bit, I don't know what you call these. You got 2 of those on each side. And then some more T30s back here. Take this metal plate off. All these T30s are the same. I'm gonna separate them though, just so bolts go back in the right spot. And you got this little bracket right here that holds that other plate on. Okay, I found all the drain plugs, but 6 is gonna be in the wheel well. I had to look it up, so we do have to take this off. So let me get this panel off. It's the same as I've been recording. Just take all these out. This panel will come off. I'll bring you right back. There you go. All that for one more drain plug. Right there. There's your oil cooler. I mean, I understand why they cost so much now. You got a guy that makes 120 bucks an hour, taking his time, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, taking a break every 10 bolts. And there we go. We're going to do them in order. You want to measure how much comes out. Because Lamborghini would tell you that you're supposed to put 10 in there, but everybody says they only get 9, 9.5 out. If you put too much oil in this dry sump, you can blow this thing up. It's happened. Because it immediately just starts sucking all the oil into the intake. You end up sucking in more oil than air, and it locks up. It hydro locks. Don't screw around. Don't sit here and be like, I think I got 9.5 out. I'm going to put 9.5 in. If anything, put less in. Start it up. You got to drive it for a couple minutes, then check the oil. You can't just check the oil on a dry sump. I'm sure most of you guys know that. I'm going to start draining it. Hopefully you guys can see. This is one, the big one, right in the middle of the car. This is the front of the engine. That's the back of the car, where the transmission is, rear bumper, rear tires. So once you get it all apart, you're looking at your crank pulley. That's 1, 2, and then 3 is up there. I'll show you once we get to it. I forgot this number 1 is supposed to have like 30 foot-pounds on it, so it's not coming off too easy. Now there's crush washers on all of these that you need to replace. Don't skip out on them. They're like $1 a piece if you get them from Audi. Make sure you get that crush washer off. Okay, we got 1. It's draining. Just let it drip. This is 2. The rest of them just hand tight. There's no weight on them, so you don't need to use anything big and crazy. Make sure the crush washer comes with you. Mine's not. It's staying on there like an asshole. 1, 2. We're going in order from left to right. Alright, we were transferring oil so we can try and measure it. Probably got a half a quart on the floor. Here's the little crush washer that I was telling you about. I want to keep all of these because I want to take them with me to Audi because it's not a Lamborghini dealership by me, and I want to make sure that they're the same as the R8. Everyone says they are. They should be, but this isn't a car that I want to mess around with. Okay, now 3 is right there. Oh, hit the mic. Right there. You guys see it? Right below that yellow sticker. You see this little drain like cut out for it. Now, the reason why you do these in order is because I think they design it so it drains down here and doesn't squirt out. I don't know. Lamborghini engineers know what they're doing. There's my crush washer. Make sure there's nothing else on there. Put the crush washer back on there. You're supposed to replace all these bolts too every so many. I mean, I got 18,000 miles. What is that? I think that's only 3 oil changes. This is the 4th. If they already replaced the bolts once, I should be good for another one. Okay, and then this one right here is 4. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then this one's 5. It's back here by the transmission. It fools you. The best way to tell, you see this black cap? You see this shining spot where it was milled out? It's this one right in the middle. Make sure you get your crush washer. Okay, and then 6 is that cooler right there. make sure you get your crush washer. I said I'm gonna keep saying it because someone's gonna get comfortable and forget. It's super light. Just realized there's a smudge on the lens. I don't know how long it's been there, but my hand's covered in oil. There's 7. So this is the driver's side of the car. There's the oil cooler, driver's side. 7's the top pipe right there. Then that's 8. I'm not gonna be able to record me taking them off. So right there, you see how there's yellow paint? There's supposed to be yellow paint on every one. They're supposed to be marked from the factory. So that's why I think they replaced the bullets at one time and the tech just didn't put yellow paint on them. But they didn't replace those bullets, obviously. Alright, I'm gonna try to record it for you because this one's gonna be a pain in the ass. It's a M8, by the way. It's one of those star bits. Oh, it's probably a lot easier to get it up through the wheel well, huh? I bet that's how you're supposed to do it. You know, everything else is like perfectly engineered with plates and shit to help drain it. This one just goes right to your brakes. Okay, Adrian said put a piece of cardboard up there. We're gonna try that. That way it's gonna drain right down here and make a big old mess. 7. 8's gonna be the easiest one. Alright, 8. I'm gonna let all those drain. I'm just gonna let this thing drip overnight. It'll be second year world. I'm gonna bring it back. Audi's already closed. Okay, back out here, boys. It's been dripping all night. Was looking at my containers. I think I got about 9 quarts out. Maybe a half a quart on the floor. I'll get this oil filter off before I run up to that dealership to get parts. Alright, oil filter's right in the middle. Pretty sure I showed you guys. It's right there. It's a cartridge filter. You can use a 32 mil socket. Where's this dripping out of? Oh, sweet. Well, there's another quart. Okay, well, as soon as you crack that oil filter loose, it comes out of drain hole number 5. I probably got another quart on the ground. I didn't think anything else was gonna come out. It was open all night. Must have just been vacuumed. There it is. Make sure you got your O-ring. I got a couple drips right here on this hose. I mean, there's hundreds of videos of these cars catching on fire. So just make sure you clean everything up. It gets hot in here. All right, I think I'm ready to go. So I called Audi yesterday and I asked for this washer set and he said that he only had 5. And I was like, well, I know for a fact that there's 8 bullets on the Lamborghini. He's like, well, my computer's only telling me that there's 5. The reason is because there's only 5 washers. Because these 3 are the same, then these 2 are the same. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that makes sense. But you need 3 of these ones and 2 of these ones. And then I'm gonna take this filter with me. So I'll see you in the car or at the dealership. Man, I really do like Audis. I should trade this in for like a RS7. All right, let's go see how expensive this is. The oil filter and the washers are like 200 bucks if you get them from Lamborghini. Let's see how much they are here. Look at this S8, boys. This thing is 6. I like this. This is the RS7. This is sick as fuck, boys. I like this a lot. The newer ones are sick. The old ones were like, they're okay. You could definitely tell it was a hatchback.
135K.
Yeah, they're sick, dude. They're beast. What are they putting out? They're like 700 horsepower now. I don't know how well you guys can see, but I really want to go back there. Because I just love like OEM parts in a bag. Like all organized and labeled so that you can scan them and put them on the car. Like it's all made to be super easy and quick. Dude, I thought it was still gonna be like just a little bit cheaper. It was $44 for everything. You get it from Lamborghini, it's like $280 something, I think. Even eBay. You look on eBay for a Lamborghini filter, they're $79. This is the same part number from the dealership. It's like 20 bucks. There you guys go. Way cheaper to do your own oil change on a Lamborghini Huracan. Right there. 46.21. This is a good day. I'm in a great mood now. Great mood. Okay, back here at the shop. I got so excited on how cheap the parts were that I forgot to stop and get oil. It calls for 0W30. Lamborghini uses Castrol. from the factory if you want to do that. But let's clean all this up and start putting these plugs in. I'll run and get oil, and I'll tell you guys which ones I use. You want to put them back in order too. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but at least you know you're putting them all back in the right spot. Make sure you got all your crush washers off. But just go around, check everything. Get a rag, clean all this up. I'm just gonna go around and clean everything. Make this bone dry. So if there's a leak anywhere, I could tell, because I'm gonna fire it up with all these covers off. Make sure there's no leaks. That's how you gotta check the oil level anyways, because it's a dry sump. You gotta run this thing for like 10-15 minutes and rev it up a little bit just to get the oil moving. So I'll bring you back once this thing's spotless. I'll probably just put like a little bit of alcohol on a paper towel and wipe this all off. Filter. I should have one extra copper crush washer. If I remember when I'm editing, I got the part numbers for these two. So I'm gonna do these in order. This is one, which is the biggest one right in the middle. I'm gonna clean everything off, check all the threads, take the old crush washers off. I'll probably just show you this one, because I'm gonna do the same thing to every single one. And then just match up the crush washers. I mean, they're all different. You can't really screw it up. Just get it snug with the hand, and then I'll go through all the torque sequences with you guys. 2 and 3, but I want to do them in order. This is 2, just to make sure all the bolts go exactly where they came from. You know, it probably wouldn't matter, but I just don't want like threads to not match up or something, you know? It's just crazy how like even light their bolts are. I don't, like maybe they're titanium or magnesium. I don't know. But like even the bolts on a Lamborghini are like ridiculously feather light. Like I can barely even tell I'm holding anything. Okay, I just got all those drain plugs hanging snugged for now. I gotta run and grab oil, and I need to go get a small torque wrench because all I got is a 1/2-inch torque wrench here. But I need to go over this oil filter because I was super scared because this does not want to come out of there. I've done plenty of cartridges, like all Mercedes, all BMWs, stuff like that is all cartridges. And this one is just super tight. And I asked that Audi, or the R8 mechanic there, and he said that they just get tight, it just pulls out. Because I was yanking on this thing earlier today, I could not get it. And I thought maybe it screwed in, and there's something somewhere I was missing. Dude, that was like all my force just now. Yep, they just snap in. And you get a new O-ring, don't forget to replace that. This is the bypass. Everything still works. Check that, because this is the oil bypass. If for some reason your filter gets clogged, this opens up so you don't blow your engine up. Do this O-ring. Let me just get a little bit of oil on there. Now, this thing's gonna snap in there. It's just nerve-wracking because it's all plastic, you know? Now this just goes back where I took it off at, obviously. Okay, just get this till it bottoms out and then just snug it up. But this one is the big one, number 1. It's for sure 33. Right there. Make sure you torque that one to 33. Okay, everything's torqued. I forgot to turn the camera back on. I could not find anything for that one, or that one. I did them all at 10. That's pretty well tight. That's probably tighter than where they were when I took them off. These ones are supposed to be 29. I got that one to click, and then I kind of just felt how hard it was for me to pull the wrench and make it any tighter, and that's how I did that one up there. I can't get a torque wrench up in there. Finally got the right oil. I don't know what all I've recorded talking about oil and stuff like that. I got the owner's manual out here to show you. So this is my owner's manual right there. It's not some knockoff. This is what came with my car. It tells you to run Castrol SLX Long Life 3 Safe 0 W30, and it gives you all the different ones you can run. But here's the big thing: they don't make this oil anymore. And Lamborghini on there, they never changed them, even because they stopped making this in like 2015. So here's the number you want to look for. This 504.00. This is like the Volkswagen recommendation, as long as it's got that number. And then this is the only oil that I could find anywhere that has that. It's Mobil 1. Castrol doesn't even have it anymore. It's got to be like a European car formula. It's 530, which if you look on Lamborghini's like bulletin board, they say that you can run 530, you can even run 040. But the big thing is that it's got to have this Volkswagen approval, which is it's either 50400 or Volkswagen 50700. And that's just for these tolerances and clearances, and it has a lot to do with their emissions. Because if you didn't know, when you're just at like highway speed and you're just in like Strada mode, this thing runs on like 2 cylinders. So it cuts everything else off. You gotta run this oil. So I'll throw up pictures because I'm sure it's not coming across great on camera. But this is pretty much what you gotta get if you want to get it from like O'Reilly's or anything like that. I went to O'Reilly's trying to find the 030. I went to AutoZone. I went to Advanced Auto, and I went to Napa. And everyone's like, I can't even order that oil anymore. And then I started looking on the forums, and then that's when I found out that everyone's switching to this. And Lamborghini even put out a bulletin saying that you can run this, or you can run the 040 if you're in warmer climates. I guess everyone in like Vegas, everyone in Mexico, stuff like that, they all run the 040. I'm gonna run the 530 because I don't want it to be too thick, especially if I'm gonna take this on like a rally or something, just cruising at highway speeds. I don't want 40 weight in there. And when you add this oil, you want to do it slow, really, really slow. So, because you got this tank, it's got to run down all those tubes that I drained. So they like recommend a quart, like a minute, 2 minutes. Just take your time, let it barely trickle in there. Don't just go dumping 5-quart jugs in here. So I for sure need 9 quarts. That's what I took out. That's what I've measured right here. I measured, I got 3.5 there, 3.5 there. I got 2.5 there. So what is that? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5. I got 9.5 quarts out. So I'm gonna put 9 in, start it, let it run. It's gotta do its heat cycle, check the oil, probably add another quart, half a quart, something, whatever it tells me to do. Then you check it again. You just wanna go super slow. You can hear it draining down. If you hear it bubbling, slow down, because it's trying to make its way through those tubes. If you remember those tubes I drained over here, tubes hooked to this, and that's what feeds the rest of the engine. And they're all at like a slight angle, so it stays going down. And you want to do it slow so you don't get a big air pocket in there. That's just what I looked up. If you go fast, you'll get a big air pocket trapped, and you might be a half a quart low. Okay, well, I'm going to do that 8 more times. I'll bring you back. You do not want to overfill this. I don't remember if I talked about this before. You don't want to overfill this. This is a dry sump. If you overfill it, it'll suck oil into the intake, and you can hydrolock it. You can blow this thing up if you overfill it. Okay, I put 9 quarts in. I got a little bit over 9 in my jugs that I took out. Plus, when I took the oil filter off, I probably lost a half a quart, if not a quart, on the ground. A couple of the techs told me that it usually takes about 10, but the whole thing, I guess, takes 11 completely, but you never get it all out. So I'm at 9. I'm going to start it up, get it up to operating temperature, check it, and then probably add a quart, maybe even more. And go through the service, check. Fasten your seatbelt. You're in a spaceship. Okay, put on the brake. I got good oil pressure. You can tell when the car's warmed up, by the way, if you're not watching your gauge. When the RPM red line goes to like 9, it jumps from 6 to 9. I'll show you. You see how the red line's at 6 grand right now? Once it warms up, it'll move. Double check I'm not leaking anything. See how the red line went to 85? I was wondering why that gauge wasn't going up. Now it's floating up. It was at 50 that whole time. Alright, let's turn it off, check this oil. I want to make sure I'm not like a 2 quarts low or anything crazy, you know, before I go revving it. Oh yeah, I'm a good quart low for sure. It's right there. I don't know what's showing up on camera. There's the fill. That's probably a good quart. I'm gonna put 3/4 of a quart in and start it back up. I'm probably a good quart low, but you do not want to overfill these. I cannot stress that enough. You can just go and look at any forums. I talked to multiple techs. I've called like multiple Lamborghini techs, and like every single one of them has had an engine come in that was seized up because someone checked the oil and added like 2 quarts of oil to it and immediately sucked it into the intake and hydrolocked the motor. Okay, there's 9 3/4. I'm sure it'll take 10, if not a little bit more, but I'd rather add oil 10 times than overfill this. I think I'm gonna rev it this time too. Oil pressure's good. We'll let it sit here for a minute. It's supposed to hold it at 2,500 RPMs for 1 minute, is what Lamborghini tells you to do. A lot of techs say they don't do that, but I'm gonna go like 2K for like 30 seconds. I'll meet them in the middle. It's been another minute of it idling. It's up to operating temperature. Oil pressure is good. I'm gonna hold it at 2,000 RPMs for about 30 seconds. Oil pressure raised up to about 7 bar. Yeah, it's still about half a quarter low. I guess the one tech was right. The one tech told me it was gonna take 10. The one old guy I talked to was like, dude, I've been doing this for a long time. It's gonna take 10. I should just listen to him. But again, like I said, I know I sound like a broken record. I'd rather add oil 10 times than have to take it back out. Okay, I'm gonna do everything you guys have already seen me do twice now. I'm gonna start it up, let it run for a minute, then rev it up to 2,000 RPMs for about 30, 40 seconds. I'll bring it back, let you know what the level's at. Dude, it's like right there. Like, I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera, but it's like not even a splash slow. That's exactly 10 quarts. I mean, there's probably a little bit here and there in jugs that I missed, but let me go around to all my quarts that I already used to make sure there's nothing sitting in them. There's probably, you know, a little teaspoon in each jug. Oh yeah, dude, there's a tablespoon in this one. Oh yeah, dude, there's a tablespoon in each one of these. Or a teaspoon. I've never been this worried and this like anal about making sure I got all the oil. Listen to me, I'm actually talking about putting teaspoons of oil in a car. Let's go and check for leaks real quick. Shouldn't have any. I did everything by the book. Shouldn't be a drop anywhere. No drips, no nothing. Everything's still spotless. It's filled. It took all of 10 quarts too. And I mean, if you want to sit here and be super weird, every time I wipe it, I'm technically taking oil out of it. But it's right there on that line. Like I said, probably should just listen to the old guy there and got every last drop out of every 10 quarts. So I held them upside down for like 3 minutes, shaking them around, got every last little drop in there. It's right at the fill line. Took pretty much on the nose 10 quarts. So that's how you do an oil change on a Lamborghini Huracan. I'm gonna drive it and check it again before I put it all back together. It's a lot easier to do than people make it out to be, but it's just time consuming. So I'm sure most people are like, oh, if you can afford a Lamborghini, you can afford the oil changes. But if you're a baller on a budget and your car costs more than your house and you wanna save 800 bucks, I am $144 in it. With all the parts from Audi and the best oil I could get for it, I saved you like 700 bucks. That's gonna be the end of this one. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made it this far. If you're new, think about subscribing. Go through my channel, check out some of my other videos. I've been completely restoring that car, and I actually take this car out and beat the crap out of it. I'm no daily driven exotics, but I don't baby it, that's for sure. I've done donuts and stuff in it. It's on my channel. Go check it out. I'll see you guys in the next one.